I just feel like when there's a burger on a menu, everyone automatically orders it. Like, I think the burger has become too powerful. Meat is king.
So we're living under the dictatorship of the burger.
Yeah. It was like a siren song when I saw it on the menu, and I didn't want it to be, but I succumbed to the beef.
Fascinating. And you think that just burgers are maybe holding us back as diners or holding restaurants back in general?
I think burgers are holding all of us back. Hi, I'm Hannah Albertine, and I'm senior editor at Infatuation. I haven't had a burger in 12 hours.
And I'm Bryan Kim, editorial lead in NYC for Infatuation. I eat burgers professionally, which means I'm 50% ground chuck.
And this is Restaurant People, the show for people who eat at restaurants, sometimes, brought to you by Infatuation. Today on Restaurant People, we are talking about our ridiculous obsession with burgers. Why is it the siren song that we can't ignore? Are we letting burgers hold us back just a little bit?
Burgers are everywhere now. Does it matter? Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? If so, for whom? We're gonna find out today.
First, let's talk about our burger obsession. What is it? Where are we going? Why can't we deny ourselves the burger?
Then we'll hear from restaurants around the country that serve super popular burgers and hear how the hype has affected their business.
Finally, we'll have our editor-in-chief, Arden Shore, in the studio to hear her take on how burgers are holding us back. I went to Eel Bar, which is like a Portuguese, Spanish, snacky bar on the Lower East Side from the same people as Hearts in Bed-Stuy and Servos also on the Lower East Side. Have you been to Eel Bar?
I have, yeah. Eel Bar was probably my favorite new restaurant of last year.
I was so excited about the menu because it's like my favorite food. It's like seafood that I want to eat next to a body of water, and you want to like drench lemon on it. There's also a burger on this menu, which I'd heard a lot of fanfare about, and I was with 3 other people, and I was like, okay, Hannah, don't order the burger. Don't order the burger. And the person sitting across from me was like, we should get the burger, right? And I got kind of pissed off at myself because immediately I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Did you want the burger?
I wanted the burger.
Okay.
And that's annoying to me because Eel Bar is an interesting restaurant doing interesting things. And I'm not sure that I should remember it as a burger restaurant.
So Hannah, the ultimate hater of burgers, the one who's trying to save us, to liberate us from this tyranny of the burger.
I just think people should be eating other stuff.
Okay, so
it's so fun to try new things.
Hannah Albertine.
You're trying to say you don't like trying new things? I mean, I went to Eel Bar and I was looking to get plowed by tuna.
Okay.
And then it didn't happen. Now we're talking about burgers.
Right. Well, you did that to yourself.
Don't get me wrong, it's a delicious burger. It's beef, unlike the burgers at Hearts and Servos, which are both lamb. Also, unlike the burgers at Hearts and Servos, you automatically are getting boquerones on this burger, which I think is cool. That's a power move. There's also Roquefort cheese. So we're just like upping the ante of stinky sharp just over and over again, which I can respect. And it was so messy, borderline salty, but good. And then when I left the restaurant, I was like, wow, I just went to a burger restaurant, but I didn't think I was gonna go to a burger restaurant. Why do you think people order burgers in restaurants?
Restaurants are expensive, and they're only getting more expensive.
Yeah.
Before I started this job, working at the Infatuation, before I got my budget where the company would give me money and I could go spend that at restaurants, I didn't go out to that many pricier restaurants. All the restaurants I went to, they had entrees under $20. And if I did go to a nicer place, what would I get? The burger, because you could experience that restaurant, maybe not fully, but you could experience it and hang out there and have an entree that fills you up and then get on out of there.
Yeah.
And I think that is at least 50% of the reason.
Yes.
What would you say?
I think price, absolutely, and familiarity. Because a burger is familiar, everybody, no matter where you grew up, you have some touch point with a burger in America, whether it was McDonald's or a fancy burger or something that your family made at a cookout. We all know what burgers are, even veggie burgers. It's the same sort of concept and construction. And so you know it's a safe order if you're at a restaurant and you're spending your own money, and you will gravitate towards the burger because you know at baseline it's probably gonna be pretty good.
What you just described to me sounds amazing. That sounds like best case scenario. Hey, let's go to a restaurant, eat something filling we know is gonna be good. So I don't know.
I think beef in America is just generally like a thing that's pushed, and so is milk. I think, and maybe we're cutting this because it's insane. We like burgers because we're obsessed with cows, because we're obsessed with milk, because we all came out of our moms.
I don't know about that.
Also, I think there are more, I know there's like small plates mania, but I think there are more people out there than maybe they're willing to admit are like, I don't want to share food. I want one thing.
Oh,
I want it for
interesting.
me. Burgers are like this individualistic food. It's like, that's my burger, don't touch it.
I used to be very anti-sharing. It would just make me so
Really?
angry when
Why?
people just wanted to split things at a restaurant. Because I want to order something, I want to eat it, I want to know that I'm going to be full at the end, and I'm going to enjoy my meal. I want to be responsible for my own experience, the captain of my own ship. But then this job changed me, and I share every meal now.
I'm 100% a dining socialist. I want everyone should share everything. It's way better that way.
What to you makes a good burger?
Before I answer that question, we need to define what counts as a burger, because there's some interesting examples around the country. Like, I think a pro of burgers is they really become like a playground for restaurants to mess with. Like, I think all you need to count as a burger is a patty and a bun, maybe?
And a bun, I think that's it.
But I would even argue, like, there's a place in Nashville that is called Brave Idiot. It's a food truck. And our team down there gave it a 9.0, and they have these wacky specials that change all the time. And they've once did a chopped cheese crunch smash with Bear Creek beef, pepper and onion, Dijon, spicy nacho Doritos, a hash brown pimento cheese, and it's all in this like jumbo tortilla shell enclosure. And it does not have a bun. It's like a Crunchwrap Supreme, but it's a burger. Like, is that still a burger, in your opinion?
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, and I would say that's definitely, obviously not a burger, Hannah.
Really?
Yes.
I think it
Is there a
could be.
patty?
There's beef.
Okay, there's beef.
It
Just because
could
something
be
has
crumbly,
beef doesn't mean
could
it's
be
a burger. I
crumbled.
think we got to move on from this one. Obviously not a burger.
Okay, fine. Here, what about another one? Okay, this is in Austin. It's a place called Bar Toti, which is a tapas bar from a place called Esti. I think it might even be next door. And they have something called a smashburger, which has, in addition to beef, it has a like griddled ham, American cheese, chipotle mayo, and spicy escabeche relish. It's on our guide to the best burgers in Austin.
Does it have a bun?
Is that a burger?
Bun?
It has a bun.
Absolutely. Burger,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so we need a bun. We've established that.
I think those are the only two things you need. In order to be a burger, all you need is the burger, the patty, and the bun. And then the patty can be whatever.
Yeah.
The bun can be whatever style of bun.
I went to Corner Bistro and did have a burger because I don't think there's anything else. There's like maybe one other thing on the menu.
Grilled cheese.
Is it grilled cheese?
Yeah, it's grilled cheese.
And it was so bloody and drippy, and I was a mess, and I did enjoy it. I'm not actually sure it was a good burger, but I really enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, so I would say that's my peak burger. So we have affordability
Yeah.
and sharing, and then the appeal, just the appeal on the internet, the look of a burger,
Oh, yes.
the familiarity of it, just the way that you can taste it through your screen.
I know, and it's
So-
when it's dripping.
Yeah, the social media aspect has multiple parts. It has how good a burger looks on your phone screen, the dripping, the melted cheese, you're cutting it in half,
Yeah.
you're showing it to your camera. Everyone does it the same way. You cut it in half, you stack it up, you show it to the camera. So you have that, and then just how good the content does. So all the creators do burger content, right? So everyone's pushing burgers on you 24/7, even
Yeah.
the restaurants themselves.
But then doesn't every restaurant become the burger restaurant? And like it's making us a little bit less adventurous as diners and homogenizing dining culture.
Yeah, how important is it to be adventurous as a diner, to try other things at a restaurant?
I would argue it's important for diners who feel like they have the means to go to restaurants and explore, because I think eating is learning, eating is getting to know your city, and if you just go to a restaurant, especially a restaurant that's charging like $28 for the burger, and you don't really order anything else, like, yeah, I think it is on diners to try things. Like, why else would you go to a restaurant? If I told you I went to Eel Bar and I only ordered a burger and a martini, what would your first thought be?
What other interesting entrees would you have gotten instead of the burger?
There was also a chicken, which I think in some ways, maybe in a couple of years ago, was also like a siren song entree. Like if a restaurant served a roast chicken, it was like a roast chicken restaurant.
Definitely. Also, I don't know if roast chicken ever got to the level of burgers, and also I think that roast chicken's more boring than burgers.
I think objectively a roast chicken is more boring than burgers, but I think roast chicken is so good. I would rather have a really good roast chicken than a really good burger.
It seems like that's not the case, seeing as how you ordered the burger at Eel Bar. I will say Eel Bar's chicken is so good.
Really?
I'm just not going to sit there and eat half a chicken by myself. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Maybe I get self-conscious eating chicken in public.
Like cutting fork
It's just
and knife?
easier with a burger. You know, you can kind of crouch over and just eat your burger. I always do that at restaurants. I get really self-conscious eating alone.
Why?
And having people watch me. I don't know, but I do it all the time.
Whoa.
Because obviously it's my job.
Yeah.
But I'm really shy.
I love
So
eating by myself at the bar.
I try to make myself as small as possible. And I crouch
Ryan,
down. And you
don't
can do that with a burger.
Take up space.
No, no, no.
Okay.
You gotta hide in the corners. Especially when you have recognizable red glasses like mine.
Oh, you're so recognizable.
So obviously, burgers are not a new invention. They've been around for a long time, and they've been popular for a long time.
How long have they been around?
I would say turn of the 20th century. So around maybe 1900 is maybe when burgers really started taking off. There's a myth that maybe at the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904, I think that the burger was invented, but that's not true. I think it was around before then. Yeah. But then you had these big chains start popping up. White Castle, for example, in Wichita, Kansas, I think that's in 1921. And then you have McDonald's pivoting from barbecue to fast food burgers in 1948, the same year.
No idea they started as a barbecue restaurant.
They started as a barbecue restaurant.
Imagine if
or at
McDonald's
least
was
focused on
still
barbecue.
a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
McRib!
Oh, McRib.
Barbecue.
They are a barbecue restaurant. I would go to a barbecue McDonald's.
Me too.
Moving on, In-N-Out, also 1948. 1948 was a big year for these fast food chains, and obviously they exploded. They're huge now. So Shake Shack, I think in 2017 they had about 300-something million in what they call system-wide sales. And then you fast forward to today, or last year, 2024, what they reported was something close to 2 billion.
Wow.
In the past few months, I can name all these smashburger places that opened. Most of them, a lot of them downtown. There's NADC Burger. That one came from Austin. Has locations in Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
There is Deluxe Burger. There's a place called Smashies, I want to say, from Hungary. There's I would think it's called Skinny Louie or Skinny Louie's in Flatiron. Huh. That one's from Miami. And I actually tried it the other day. Pretty good. Smashburgers are delicious, and they are everywhere. Also, the first time I was in Greece.
Oh, you mean the country?
Country. So picture this: I'm in Paros, Greece, which is an island in the ocean, right? In the sea. I'm so sorry. It's a sea. That's not an ocean. It's the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Maybe more specifically, the Aegean Sea. So I'm in Paros, right? Yeah. And I'm wandering around downtown, and I see this smashburger place. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. And then I wander inside. They're playing Action Bronson, right? So it's a smashburger place. They're playing Action Bronson in this small seaside town.
The patron saint of smashburgers, I assume.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so I start talking to the chef. His name's Chris. And I say, Chris, what's going on here? Why are you making smashburgers in Paros, where everybody else is making souvlaki or Italian food? There's not, it wasn't a huge diversity of cuisine in Paros.
Yeah.
But there was this one smashburger place. So I go inside, I talk to Chris, and he says, well, I was inspired by all my travels. I asked him about New York. He said he went to Hamburger America, wasn't really a fan. Oh. He went to, I think, Gotham Burgers Social Club, loved that. His favorite? Butter. His favorite was butter.
Wow, Chris and I. So did you have a burger there?
I did have a burger. It was delicious.
Wow.
It was really good. It was a super thin patty, ultra lacy, and he used Martin's potato rolls.
Yeah.
And we to this day, don't know how he got them there.
But it's interesting, in some other cities where we have Infatuation editors and writers, the smashburger timeline is a little bit different. Like in Philly, where I live, I think we're just getting our smashburger wave 1.0. And in a place like Austin, I think they might be on the smashburger wave 2.0. In Chicago, same thing. They sort of had a big smashburger craze, and then it died down, and now it's back. But smashburgers are interesting because they just require so much less beef than a big fat restaurant burger, and therefore you can make them faster, they're cheaper to make, and yeah, you're charging between $6 and $10 for it, but if you can get the volume, it makes sense to me that there's a lot of money to be made in smash burgers.
Smash burgers have their own appeal, like both for the consumer and the person making the smash burger, for sure.
So we have smash burgers, and that proliferation tells us, yes, people want burgers. Yes, people want to spend less than $10 on burgers. But then there's this whole other contingent of restaurant burgers, which are more often than not using like chuck and dry-aged ribeye, and they're like, it's a steak, except it's a sandwich, and we're going to charge you $30 for it.
The fancy pants burger.
The fancy pants burgers. Do you have a feeling overall about fancy pants burgers?
Like overall, no, I'm pro still. I like that they tend to be the least expensive items on a menu. You know where they aren't? Red Hook Tavern, which some people, I think we say it, is the best burger in New York City.
Yeah. How much does a Red Hook Tavern burger cost?
A Red Hook Tavern burger. So Red Hook Tavern is in Red Hook, Brooklyn. The burger costs $32, I believe.
And no fries.
You do get fries, they're cottage fries. Okay. They aren't very good. So the Red Hook Tavern burger is a very simple burger. It is just one thick patty with some cheese on it. It seemed like it was American cheese last time I was there.
My memory is that it's American cheese.
Yeah, with a thick slice of onion.
Yeah.
Simple burger, big patty, gets right to the point. Cottage fries aren't great.
No one's ordering
Love the burger.
The RHT Burg for the fries.
Minetta Tavern is another good example of this, and I would say that they were one of the originators of the Fancy Pants Burger. They were ahead of this trend. I'm not saying they were the first one, but they were definitely ahead of the trend with their Minetta Burger. It was probably $32 10 years ago, maybe $30, 28. And people were like, I would never spend that much money on a burger. It was so controversial, and now we have so many over $30 burgers. And how do I feel about $30 burgers? Not great. Do I order them a lot? Yeah. A lot of times just for work, though, because...
Well, explain that. Just for work, why? You eat out in New York City, what, 5 nights a week?
5 nights at least, yeah. So I am going to try the most interesting things on a menu. I also...
Which, is it a burger?
It's not a burger.
Say it again.
It's never a burger.
It's never a burger.
The most interesting thing
It's
on a
never
menu
a burger.
is never the burger.
Print it!
You got me there.
Is this print? Is podcast print? No, I don't think so.
So I get the interesting things, not the burger. And then I do get the burger because it's typically, I would say, 90% of the time, the most popular thing on a menu.
Yeah.
So our readers will often want to know how the burger is.
For sure.
And I need to be able to answer that question.
Absolutely, or else you look like a ding-dong.
Well, I just want to be able to help out our readers and say, hey, this is a good burger, this isn't a good burger.
Also that.
It doesn't mean that I'm obsessed with burgers, but I'd rather eat other things. I was talking to the bartender at Red Hook Tavern. He said 100% of people order the burger. Parties, not people, but parties have a burger on their table. So that's got to be refreshing for someone to be like, I'll have the pork chop. Which, last time I was at Red Hook Tavern, I did have the pork chop, and it was so much better than the burger. It was so delicious.
Whoa.
It's, they smoke it in a smoker at Hometown Barbecue. It's from the same restaurant people. And then it's got this like sweet maple glaze. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like thick cut bacon, and it's delicious, served over polenta. So really, like, get that instead of the burger.
You know, obviously, a place like 7th Street Burger, McDonald's, White Castle, these are burger restaurants.
Yeah, you're supposed to order the burger there.
You're supposed to order the burger. That's different than a place like Eel Bar, which has an expansive menu and is about, you know, little fish, freaky little fish.
Yeah, I think it does sound like you think people are not supposed to order that burger. I think you think people are being naughty or inappropriate when they order a burger.
They're being a little naughty.
So, the place we went to last night, it's called 1 White Street. It's in Tribeca. Very fancy place from a fancy chef. I think the chef used to work at Frenchie, maybe the sommelier, a place in Paris.
Yeah.
And the burger on the menu was very out of place. I talked to Kenny on our team in New York City. He's the one who originally reviewed it, and he does not remember a burger being on the menu. Yeah. There's no evidence of the burger, at least in what he wrote on our site. We went last night and had 2 burgers alongside, what else did we have? It was like chilled foie gras.
Which was delicious.
This chilled foie gras was really good.
With like stone fruit and a pecan like gelée.
And some almonds. I don't know, it was really good. We also had this garden salad from their garden, pea tortellini, sea bream, and then 2 burgers.
Burger.
Like, that place shouldn't be serving burgers. So why do you think they're serving burgers?
I'll tell you exactly why. You asked the server, this lovely server, how many people order burgers? Like, what percentage would you say? And he very quickly said 82%. I think when you have a fancy pants burger at a restaurant, the reason to eat it, if there is one, is you know that the beef they're using is gonna be gorgeous.
Yeah.
There was like a burger sauce that kind of was like a sort of standard Thousand Island-y burger sauce that they put on the burger for the white cheddar version, and on the side in a beautiful fine dining puddle for the Stilton version, to not overpower it. And I think the nicest touch actually was, we were a group of 4, and we didn't ask for this, but they had automatically split up the burger and
That
had
was
little
so
toothpicks in
nice.
each piece.
And I feel like we missed out by getting the burger because it was a very good burger, but it was also a burger that we could have gotten somewhere else. Maybe not quite as good, but very, very similar.
Absolutely.
Could have had a similar experience anywhere else. So I guess this plays into your point of burgers holding us back. It really did limit our experience at that restaurant. We didn't get the full experience. That's definitely not how the chef saw things going. I mean, maybe, but I would predict no. Do you think
I think chefs are mad at us. I mean,
mad
always.
at us specifically?
Well, maybe us specifically, because we as restaurant critics are pushing out burgers because we know our audience wants to read about burgers.
We are burger propagandists a
For
little
sure.
bit because we know that our audience wants that. But also, we would never lie about burgers.
No.
The burgers that we say are delicious are super delicious, and they are just as delicious as we say they are. And especially places like One White Street start doing a burger, what are you supposed to do? Not write about it?
But riddle me this, like when you're updating a guide to the best burgers, are you updating that more often than you're updating, let's see, I don't know. Like, we don't have a guide to the best robust harvested vegetables from a farm upstate.
We don't. So that's like a demand thing. Yeah, we do update our burger guide a lot, but that's because there are always so many new entries to check out.
And that's
There's
true
always a new burger in town.
across
you gotta
the country.
Go try.
I think everybody, all of our writers and editors are constantly on burger alerts.
So we were just talking about us being burger propagandists, but everybody is. Restaurants are, creators are, just regular people who aren't in food media are.
Because we're all ordering burgers, therefore incentivizing restaurants to keep putting burgers on the menu, does that mean that every restaurant is basically turning into a burger restaurant? How do we know if a restaurant is good if all we order is the burger?
If you like this episode, please make sure to follow, like, subscribe to Restaurant People on YouTube or your preferred podcast platform so you don't miss an episode.
To keep the conversation going, we have our fearless leader, our editor-in-chief, my biological brother, Brian's great aunt, Arden Shore. Arden, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Hi, restaurant people. Hi,
Hi.
burger muppets.
Thanks
I
for
know.
stopping by.
Arden, you feel strongly about burgers. I've heard you talk about it a lot.
We talk a lot about burgers. We 3 have eaten a lot of burgers together. I mean, whenever we hire a new writer or editor to the Infatuation team, these people are pros. We hire them for a good reason. They know a lot about food. They've been to a lot of restaurants. And without fail, before the first time they hit the pavement, they go out on their first assignment to a restaurant, these seasoned writers and editors will say, wait, what do I order? Which is always hilarious because you know how to order. And my general guidelines are order too much, order interesting things on the menu, and if there's a burger, order it.
You say that
Yeah.
to new
Yeah,
buyers.
and I mean, if somebody goes to a restaurant that has a burger and doesn't order it, they've failed at their assignment because our audience is so curious about burgers, and we're part of the problem. You know, we're constantly updating our burger guide. And people just want to know what are the best burgers in New York, in LA, in San Francisco, in Chicago. It's not city agnostic. This entire country, maybe this whole world, is in the iron clenched fist of burgers. And so when we go to restaurants, we check out the burger. And it can be boring, but I mean, I myself, when I go to a restaurant, I want to know. Even if I'm not on assignment and I'm using my own personal money and I sit down at the restaurant and I see a burger on the menu, already in my head I'm going, burger, burger, burger,
And
burger.
do you-
Aren't you?
Do you feel embarrassed about that?
I'm always embarrassed about everything. No, I'm not embarrassed about that. I think there's just a human inclination to want
Yeah.
a burger.
Meat.
Meat.
It's like cave people stuff.
Yeah, it's totally cave people stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think we all have different burger preferences, and that's why we're always wanting to check out what's this new spot doing a little bit differently?
Oh, that one has bone marrow aioli.
That one has bacon jam. That one's a smash. That one's a thicken.
Do you recall the first time you had the thought, is this restaurant good or do they just serve a burger?
Yes, it was this year, 2025. I was in Greenpoint checking out The Snail, which is a hot new restaurant. It's kitty corner from Bernie's, which is a hot, not new Greenpoint restaurant that also serves a burger and attracts large crowds. And so you've got these two dueling burger restaurants in a trendy restaurant neighborhood. And the chef at The Snail, I think, came from the Four Charles restaurant group. So that burger is definitely related to the Four Charles burger. It just doesn't have an egg on it. And when I was in that restaurant, I realized every table had the burger. And about 3 days later, I couldn't remember anything else I had eaten at that restaurant. And that's when I had this thought, was that restaurant good, or did they just serve a burger?
And then we worked on that piece of content for the site, which was something like, you don't like that restaurant, you just like burgers.
So my take on The Snail is that it's not a great restaurant and it's not such a great burger either. I like a really thick burger. The burger at The Snail is, the patty is medium well. It's slathered in sauce. Normally my motto is it's all about the sauce, not when it comes to burgers. I find the American cheese to be a little bit gloopy. The bun is a little dry in my opinion, and I don't care. I don't care. I want something more interesting. It's your standard burger bait burger.
So it's interesting that you tell new staff writers, you gotta order the burger. Because of this very point, we want to tell the people what your expectation should be when you go to a restaurant, and you're drawn to the burger, but maybe don't order it.
We need to answer the question for our audience, is this burger worth ordering?
Yeah.
Is this burger worth going out of your way for? Is this restaurant more than just its burger?
Which I think is a great segue to a little game we want to play.
All right, so do you know when people say, is he hot or is he just tall?
Yeah. What about, is he hot or is he just my short king?
Is he hot or is he just my short king? Same thing. We could go on. So we are going to play a game like that, but with burgers. The game is that restaurant good or do they just serve a burger?
Let's go.
All right. So I'm gonna name a restaurant. Hannah will name a restaurant. Arden, you are going to say if that restaurant is good or if they just serve a burger. In this case, we're going to use, for our definition of good, it's more of like great. Is it like worth going out of your way for? Is it an exceptional restaurant? Somewhere where you actually want to eat a bunch of stuff other than the burger. So, now that we've said that, let's kick things off. I'll go first. A place we were just talking about, Arden. Bernie's. Is that restaurant good or do they just serve a burger? Bernie's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
It's like chilling when you ask like that.
Bernie's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. That's a red booth restaurant. They've got great booths. They also don't take reservations. It attracts a scene. If you go there, to get a table there, if you're just a regular guy, you've got to line up at 4 o'clock when they open to get inside. And you know what? I don't think the food there is so great, and I'm sure a lot of people agree with me, but
Yeah.
that's a hot restaurant.
Hot restaurant.
Hot
It's a hot
restaurant.
red booth restaurant.
All
It's
right.
And
RBR.
it's a good burger. It's not a great burger. They've got that shreddis on top.
Yeah.
It comes with fries. It's just like, it's kind of like the emoji burger. When you picture that emoji burger, that's what's going to come on the plate.
All right, I'm gonna need a verdict here. Is it a good restaurant?
It's a good restaurant.
Good restaurant for Bernie's. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna skip across the country for the next one. Let's do, what about
Take a trip.
Dudley Market in LA?
Dudley Market. I love Dudley Market. It's a restaurant in Venice, California, truly right off the beach. If you sit outside, you can even see the ocean. You can get beautiful crudos, a nice piece of rockfish. The staff there fishes for their own fish in the Pacific every morning, which is really unique.
So incredible.
I can't really name any other restaurant in LA that's
I don't think
doing
in
that.
New York, it definitely. I don't
And
think
they absolutely do not need a burger on that menu. But this is I think this is on our top 5 for burgers in LA. And for such good reason. It is a very thick patty. There is bacon jam on there. And it's that kind of burger when you pick it up and you give it a little squeeze, the juice will drip down your elbow. And you can really taste the quality in the meat. It's a great burger, and it's also just a very sexy restaurant. And I would happily go there and not order the burger, but it's tough.
So you're saying yes, absolutely a great restaurant.
Great restaurant.
It's so crazy to me that you could know, one could hear this restaurant is fishing their own fish.
They're fish,
and
they're
still
fishing
be like,
for burgers.
I'll
Give me
take
that
the burger,
burger.
please. Let's go San Francisco. Zuni Cafe?
Zuni is a tricky one because it's a classic restaurant. It's a classic restaurant that serves a chicken that I think is now costs upwards of $70.
What?
Yeah.
What?
What do you get? The coop?
You should get the whole coop
That
and
is-
all of its eggs. The burger is lunch only. You have to pay a little extra for a slice of heirloom tomato. You also have to pay a little extra for cheese, and I do think you need those things to make it a great burger. But ultimately, that is a delicious cheeseburger, and I would say you should go out of your way to eat it for lunch. Is it a great restaurant? I'm on the fence. I'm saying it's a classic restaurant, not necessarily a great one.
That's one of those places that I feel like as an East Coaster who pays attention to restaurants, it's like on my short list of West Coast restaurants that I'm like, I gotta go to.
And you should go. Just don't expect to have the best meal of your life.
Yeah. Let's go back to New York. I've been to this restaurant, but I think I ate the burger, but I don't remember that much about it. Swoonies.
Oh yeah, we went there together.
Swoonies in Brooklyn.
Everybody was swooning for Swoonies
Fun to
last
say.
year. It's 2024. It's from the Cafe Spaghetti People, which is a fun little Carroll Gardens Italian restaurant. But here's the thing about that restaurant. You go there, everyone's eating that burger. And everything else on the menu is pretty forgettable. In my opinion, the burger isn't even that great because it's a sauce burger. It comes on like what looks like an English muffin. I think that they call it a Portuguese bun.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And it's a double patty, lots of sauce. It's a tasty little thing, but I would not go out of my way for it, and I definitely wouldn't go there and not order the burger. So I'm saying Swoonies, whatever restaurant, whatever burger. Sorry.
Okay, really fun game. You know, it's easy for us to like sit in our chairs and judge the restaurants, which is like totally our jobs. But I wonder, like maybe we can step back and talk about like what is the effect of this burger mania on restaurants? If you're saying that restaurant has a good burger, but it's not actually a good restaurant, that clearly the quality of that restaurant is so tied to the burger. And what do you make of that?
Yeah, like are the restaurants under the thumb of the burger dictatorship? I think absolutely yes. I can't imagine that these restaurants where every table orders a burger is happy about that, because all of them are spending so much time meticulously crafting so many other recipes that are far more interesting. And yet here we are, us Americans, ordering the burger again and again.
But nobody's making a restaurant put a burger on their menu. All of these restaurateurs are complicit in the whole burger dictatorship thing. If you put a burger on your menu, yes, it's going to do good things for you, but there will be a cost. There could also be a lot more profit, like a metaphorical cost.
There's a philosophical,
Not a
emotional
literal
cost,
cost.
but literally, I think it's a huge financial win.
I also think that when restaurants open with a burger on the menu, even though it's not like a burger specialty restaurant, they know what they're doing because burgers get people in the door. It gets us in the door, right? Like new burger alert, we're there, we're covering it, we're ordering that burger.
Someone on our team, not involved in reviewing restaurants, reached out to a few restaurants with a cult favorite burger to see how these restaurants felt about serving such a popular burger, and we're gonna hear some of those responses now.
Well, I think there's a really interesting response from Rafiq, who is a managing partner at Rolo's. Rolo's is an American restaurant in Ridgewood that is known for their in-house butchery program. They have an amazing steak situation and also like one of the most glorious big party booths I've ever sat in. The restaurant has been open for, at this point, a couple years. It's not new by any means, and they serve a very limited amount of burgers that usually sells out 7 p.m. at the latest. We asked, do you regret having a burger on the menu? And they said, absolutely not. We love our burger. You could argue that it single-handedly made us popular 7 days a week from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Filling a restaurant at 5 p.m. is challenging, but because we have limited amounts of burgers, it forces guests to come early. And then on the topic of restricting the amounts of burgers, Rafiq says, restricting the number of burgers forces our guests to try different things and creates a more balanced menu mix. We want Rolo's to be more than an amazing, delicious burger. We have all kinds of good grilled seafood, meats, and vegetable dishes, handmade pasta, raw fish, etc.
But to be fair, it's such a restaurant darling. It's such a hot spot. It's Jeremy Allen White's favorite restaurant.
Right.
People would be lining up at 5 anyway. And I also think that the burger makes sense on a menu like that. It's a little Italian. It's mostly just like an American restaurant on the border of Brooklyn and Queens.
Yeah.
And a burger fits right in. I think it's interesting that Rafiq says that they limit the number of burgers to encourage people to explore more of the menu, because as someone who went to Rolo's at 6:30 after the burger was sold out and left a little bit heart sunken to not have tried it, I think that by limiting the number of burgers, what the diner feels is this sense of scarcity, and that actually attracts more hype around this restaurant and makes people come back more than once.
I think if they served limited lasagna, I can
They've
see
got a
people
nice
getting
lasagna.
excited about that. Yeah, it is delicious lasagna.
We also got some responses from Local Tide in Seattle, Washington. It is a seafood-first restaurant, so a burger is not really what you think of when maybe you think of Local Tide, or maybe it is if you've been to Local Tide and had the burger there, but they specialize in seafood. Here are some quotes from our 9.0 review from writer Amy Rizzo. The burger at a seafood joint often ends up being a consolation prize for people who aren't into fish but got dragged to the restaurant anyway. Local Tide's burger, however, is the best dish on the menu. The smashed beef and pork patty has all the juiciness of dumpling filling and harmonizes perfectly with jammy caramelized onions, a bit of mayo, and yellow American cheese. That sounds like a nice burger.
I love the pork combo.
Let's hear what Victor, founder and chef, has to say about having such a popular burger. Now, to the question, generally, how do you feel about being a seafood restaurant that serves a cult-famous burger? Victor says, honestly, at first, it was a little frustrating. We put so much effort into our menu that revolves around high-quality, wild, local seafood that when the burger of all things begins to get recognition, it feels almost like a disservice to the rest of the menu. However, over time, our feelings have waned surrounding that, and we have learned to accept it. Kind of bleak. We'd be lying.
Don't learn to accept it,
They've
Victor.
learned to
Rebel.
We'd be lying if we said we didn't also love the burger. Okay. At the end of the day, we're just happy that guests enjoy any of the items we offer. So it does sound like Victor is semi-defeated by the whole burger thing.
Victor has accepted his fate, as we're in a burger world, Victor.
Victor's making burgers. I also think, to Amy's point in her review, there are a lot of people who don't necessarily want seafood. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me.
But if you end up at that restaurant, this is a really great option. It makes it more attainable, and it's for everyone.
We also got a really interesting response from Connor, who's the owner and chef of Dudley Market in LA, which we've previously talked about. It's a sexy seafood restaurant. They do their own fishing. They go the extra mile. They do have a burger with dill aioli, which now I will be thinking about as I fall asleep tonight. And we asked them what was the thought process behind putting a burger on the menu. And Connor said, there's no such thing as a neighborhood restaurant in LA that doesn't have a burger. Thoughts?
I think that's true as hell, and also what's special about Dudley, as I said before, is it's right by the beach. And so there's something about staring at the ocean and eating a burger, and you really can like crawl off the beach with sandy toes, go to Dudley and have a burger.
Yeah.
Which does feel so neighborhoody and just intrinsic to that LA experience.
We said, generally, how do you feel about being a seafood restaurant that serves a cult-famous burger? And Connor said, Like I'm cosplaying a fisherman every day, spending my days and nights at sea, relentlessly unwilling to acknowledge the burger lord staring back at me in the mirror each morning. I like Connor.
I also like
Shout
Connor.
out to Connor.
I
Shout out
think
to Connor.
Connor is a poet. I think our friend Victor at Local Tide also is suffering. And I think they know.
They should hang out.
They should hang out. I do think like restaurants don't need to be for everyone. I think if a seafood restaurant is making amazing seafood, they don't need to appease the people who don't like seafood. I know it's easier to say that on a couch than, you know, it is to actually run a restaurant and think about profits, but I just worry that that concession of like, oh my gosh, we have to please the masses is making restaurants a lot less interesting.
Even La Bernardin in Midtown, they have a vegetarian tasting menu, right? Like it's a seafood restaurant. It's you know, every accolade you could have, but they still have a vegetarian tasting menu.
It sort of reminds me of Servo's here in New York and how they have a lamb burger on the menu, but you have the option to add boquerones on top, which is so freaky and weird.
Yeah.
And leans into like, hey, we're a seafood restaurant and we do have a burger, but you can make it fishy if you want to.
And I mean, Eel Bar takes it a step further and says you don't have an option, you have to make it fishy. And so that's, I admire.
With all of that in mind, let's ask again, are burgers holding us back? And I'll kick it off and say that it does sound, I was skeptical at first, Hannah, I was pretty skeptical, but it does sound like, at least from a restaurant point of view, burgers are holding us back.
Restaurants would be better without burgers. I think, full stop. I think we'd have more inventive stuff. We'd be eating more vegetables. We'd be eating more seafood. And we wouldn't have to have a podcast about this. We could talk about other stuff, other pressing stuff like tuna.
I mean, objectively, the burger is a part of the great American pastime, right? I just don't think that we need to be eating them for $34 in fancy schmancy restaurants. I do think that they're holding us back. I do order them every time I see them on the menu because I have burger brain. But it's too much. It's too much, and I think we can move past this as a culture.
Evict the burgers from the restaurants, take them back to the burger joints.
Wouldn't you love to hear like what Minetta Tavern's coming up with instead of their burger?
I'm just saying that maybe in a world where we take that burger off the menu, they evolve and they come up with new ways to get us to sit at the bar and drink a martini and eat a quick meal. And what is that? What do you think that looks like?
I don't know. I'm hoping it's maybe a turkey club.
Oh, I would love for it to be a
love
turkey club.
clubs.
Then we can have a club sandwich episode.
Yeah.
I think a challenge for us all is to go to a restaurant known for its burger and to just not do it. Try something else and see how is that experience.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage. It takes determination.
Takes guts.
It takes real grit and guts.
Yeah.
But we're all capable of it, and that's my challenge to all of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to a burgery restaurant, don't order that burger.
Free the chefs from the burger shackles.
Free us too. I'm tired of seeing a burger on a menu and just really wanting that burger.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Hannah. Thanks for joining us on Restaurant People. If you liked this episode, follow, like, and subscribe to Restaurant People on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform, so you won't miss another episode.
If you want more burgers in your life or you want to figure out where to eat next, check out our great reviews and guides on theinfatuation.com.
And follow @Infatuation on Instagram or @TheInfatuation on TikTok.